Hey Addicts, welcome back to another comic related video. I'm Josh and today we're going to be talking about the Walking Dead comic, issue 183, and Michonne Without Her Sword. Sorry guys that this is a little bit behind schedule. This is coming out a week after the comic release. Just last week was busy and I was swamped with work stuff, but we're getting into it now, so I'm going to try to keep this as short as I can, which, as you guys know, is still going to be long, but we're going to get through it. Now, this is it feels like a short issue. There's still a lot that goes on, but we just see the Commonwealth, or better yet, we get a closer look into the Commonwealth and exactly a part of it, which we start off with Michonne and her daughter Elodie, and they're traveling with this guard named Jerome, and they're headed to I guess a different settlement. It's a part of the Commonwealth, but I guess it's like the sense of like the Hilltop is to the Alexandria and area, you know. It's just a different place where they have people staying at, and it is called Greenville. And we see them, they're walking around, they're going back and forth. Elodie's telling Michonne a little about the place and that she thinks she'll love it. And we get an interaction between Michonne and Jerome, and Jerome being like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing," and Michonne's like, "Okay, well, I hope you can prove it." And sure enough, you get a little bit of reaction with the walkers, and Michonne gets to show off just how much of a badass she is by saving him. And we just get that little bit moment just showing that Michonne hasn't softened up at all, even though she's living the high life at the Commonwealth. But anyway, we get into this place called Greenville. They're there for a couple days, and we get to meet this one chick. I'm not sure if she'll be important later, but her name is Chloris, and she was kind of like a clerk, secretary thing that was I guess in charge of the area that they were staying at, but they treat them nice. They give them a cabin to stay in. They're up like off of a lake, and you flash forward a little bit in time to when they're getting ready to leave, and we get to see another thing spout off with Michonne. She receives some food and drinks in this kind of like I guess some kind of gift basket. And she ends up noticing that there's a family walking by that's going without. Presumably they are the lower class people in the Commonwealth. And so Michonne does, anything that she would do in Alexandria, she gave the people that were in need the food. And we just get a little peek of just how stuck up some of these people are, with Chloris giving Michonne like a dirty look. But we're writing out, and the next panel, I'm not really sure if this is taking place in the same town, Greenville, or if it's back where they were before, but we get to see that somebody had attacked a guard, and Michonne goes to figure out exactly what's happening, and we get to see that they are basically police brutality here, because we got like 4 guards all beating up on this guy. And beating him to death with these batons. And so Michonne gets in there, and she's like, steps in the way, and she's like, "Whoa, hold up, stop!" And then she realizes that the guy that was like beating the dude is the guy who was escorting them into the town a couple days prior. And we don't really get to see the whole thing pan out. We just flash forward to where she is in Lance's office, and Lance is kind of going over the situation. They're discussing how this might be a bad thing if word gets out, because since the community is so big, word spreads fast. And Lance basically demands that Michonne be the attorney, like the defense attorney, for the guards in the trial that they're going to have, which Michonne is super pissed about, because she knows that they're in the wrong and she doesn't want to have any part of that, but she's in a position where she kind of has to bite her lip, and she's trying to figure out what to do. We get to see that the people that are in the lower rankings of the Commonwealth are getting more flustered. They're starting to protest outside of Michonne's house. They're, insulting her when she goes out. And eventually the this tension explodes, and we get to see rioting start. And they actually break into Michonne's house. Elodie and Michonne are getting out of the way to try to escape the riot group as the guards are trying to suppress what is going on. And we end the issue with seeing Pamela and Rick getting into the gates of the Commonwealth, with Pamela saying, "Holy fuck." And I'm sorry, but I am allowed one of those per video, especially with The Walking Dead. But anyway, so I feel like I did a pretty good job with predictions last time. It seems like most of what I said is kind of on par. I really liked this issue. There's a lot of subtle moments. I love these little subtle details that they're putting into the Commonwealth. There's a lot of little hints to what the structure is like and just how well everything connects, or in this case, how not well everything connects. And I'm going to be really interested going into the next issue, exactly what's going to go off. I feel like since Rick is there, he's probably going to lay down the law, try to be the middleman, like, hey, what's the problem? What can we fix? And this might be this part where Pamela gets to see exactly why Rick is the leader of Alexandria, and that he can defuse these situations. He can control people very well. I don't know, though. I'm really curious to see where they go, because the source of the problem wasn't really Michonne at all, but a lot of the group's anger was geared towards Michonne. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how they deal with that, if they're going to try to put the tension towards the people running the Commonwealth, and they're going to try to side with the people, or if it's going to be more of like, hey, let's talk through this, there's no need to get violent. One of the things I didn't mention in my recap is that the person that the officers were beating died later of his injuries, so there could be a lot of grudge held towards Michonne defending these people, being labeled as just as bad as the other high aristocratic assholes that are in the Commonwealth. So this is going to be really interesting to see. I'm not really sure if we'll get to see the aftermath played out of this, as the next issue has, let me see if I can pull it up here. It is called Eugene Tinkers, and we get to see a train with Eugene working on the train, and then the Commonwealth guards there. I think that, I don't know if I said this in my last issue or not, or if it was previously where they had mentioned a train, but I feel like the main focus of this next issue will probably be focused more towards, trying to make the gap, or I guess the distance between the Commonwealth and Alexandria a bit closer, because right now they're having to spend weeks, I think it was, at least a couple weeks to get from one settlement to the other. So they're really going to need something to help bridge that gap, so when they get stories that are getting more intense and, high pressure, or whatever I can't think of the word I'm wanting to use, but you get what I'm saying. When stakes are getting higher and their situations are going to need to be dealt with more rapidly, they're going to need something that lets them get to that place in a lot faster than 2 weeks. So I think that's all they're doing. They're trying to get it to work so that they can just make the story flow a little bit better and a little bit faster, so they don't have to worry about it being unrealistic of them just popping up in a certain place. But I do hope that we get to the aftermath of this, because I don't want the story to slow down again. I mean, it's fine because it has been like that, but I'm ready to see the reward that we've been building up to. But I think going forward, I think it's either going to boil down to Rick either being like, nope, I'm not going to have anything to do with this, you deal with them, they're your people, or he's going to, and then maybe he might get involved when they go after Michonne, or it could be like, hey, you saw how we were leaving, we didn't have a problem where we were from, I get walking here to your doors and the very first thing I see is chaos, like maybe you should start thinking our way. And I don't know if I'd really want the second one that I mentioned, just because it seems awfully familiar to when he got into Alexandria. Of course, if they add enough different variables, I think it's still could work. But I'd like to just see where Kirkman goes with this, to hopefully in a direction that we haven't seen before. I don't really have much predictions, or at least any good ones that I can think of off the top of my head, just because we don't have... we were kind of left with a clear cut, not much to go on. But looking forward to it, definitely. I would say this issue, it was a solid issue. I did like it. There was a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, you get to peek more into the Commonwealth, which was something we hadn't had at all. And I think that'll be the last little bit that we're going to need to have before things really get, high stakes and bigger scale. But I would say that if you guys are, looking at getting this issue or not, it's always hard when I try to recommend this. I would say it's worth a read if you want to. It's not something super spectacular, so I wouldn't say you have to. If you want to wait off, you can. But if you got the money and you like The Walking Dead, I recommend it, because I think this is a great entrance point before we get to, get to the bigger stuff. Because if you haven't read any in a while and you want to catch up, or if you want to just dive into this one, I think this is a good little sneak peek of what this community is like and, how they're operating, so that when you're moving forward, you kind of know what they're dealing with in terms of this new community. But anyway, guys, that'll conclude this video, because like I said, I want to keep it short for you guys, since it's already been a week since it's been out. But please stay tuned for other stuff. We got more comic stuff related. We got some light novel stuff coming, as well as there's some gaming reviews that have just been up, and I'm going to try to get some more out for you, as I've been playing through Spider-Man and Yakuza Kiwami 2. And we'll also have some movie stuff, because October's coming up, and there's going to be a lot of Halloween content coming, both here in videos and then also on our site with a bunch of written lists. So if you're interested in that, please stay tuned, and I'll have all the links for our different accounts in the description, so you can go check those out. But anyway, guys, that'll conclude this video, and I'll see you guys next month for issue 184. Later, Addicts.